Hey guys, my name is Mandy, and it's almost Thanksgiving. It's the start of the holidays, and so this topic is probably on a lot of people's minds. Seasonal affective disorder. This is something that I've suffered from most of my life, and every year I get better and better at discovering the things that really help me through it. And within the past year, I've kind of looked at the subject, kind of zoomed out, and looked at it. In a way less identified with it and come up with a lot of insights for why seasonal affective disorder is kind of an invitation for a really good thing. So they found scientifically that people who suffer from seasonal affective disorder are more sensitive to the varying levels of serotonin that happen. So we have really high levels of serotonin in the summer, and then they decrease significantly in the winter. And so I believe that the nature of the universe is more holistic and energetic than just measuring one specific chemical that happens in our brain. And so if you look at it, if you look at the things that you love about summer, and so I haven't seen this studied anywhere, but I'd be really interested to know if people who, and please comment if this is the case for you, but it is for me, where I will enter some pretty blissful states in the summer. As long as nothing's going on, I'm not overthinking anything. There's a lot of days when I'm just blissful in the summer. And then, like, in the past, and even as a young child, frequently had like a depressive episode happen in November. So we're more sensitive to things, and you may find that if you suffer from seasonal affective disorder that you're also more sensitive to other things that happen. You're more sensitive to what people say or anything really. And so when that happens, we have the opportunity to go in the way of feeling good. And we also have the ability to feel really, really good. And we assume and have this sort of false belief that feeling really good also means that we have to feel really bad sometime. And that's completely not true. It's the best news that's really difficult for you to accept and believe, but it's true. And so within the past few years, I've really reframed my mindset and how I think about fall. And the main thing that's helped me to do this has been to become more and more in tune and connected with nature. And this even means being in tune with the cycles of the moon, with noticing the stars and how they move, noticing more constellations, noticing the habits of birds, noticing how beautiful frost looks on the grass, just truly appreciating every change of the season. And we all kind of have that lovely feeling of coming in where it's warm from where it's cold. And so the contrast of that is what makes us feel warm, makes us feel good in it. So that contrast in itself allows us to have that beautiful gratitude of feeling warm again. And so we can feel that way about the seasons, and we can find things to appreciate all the time, and we can accept the contrast, the shorter days, the dark. And our society is very about what it defines us by what we do. It defines us by our work. It's very obsessed with things getting done. And so when it comes to the time of the year when people want to sleep more, when people want to slow down, there can naturally arise a lot of pushing against that when you have other influences in life that make you want to work really hard. And so if you can expect that, look forward to it as a time of year to rest. If you can think in the past, if you were a farmer, all the stress of summer, of growing the crops, of is the weather going to cooperate for us to have a good harvest, of bringing in the harvest, all that work, you can imagine how you'd look forward to and how grateful you'd be when the days are short and the cold comes in, that you can finally rest in a way. Now, I'm sure they had a lot of challenges too, but I'm sure they really looked forward to that rest. And so if we can find things to look forward to, and we truly have a cushy, comfortable life in comparison, we can find things like the Danes have something called Huga, and they celebrate the entire month of December as kind of like Christmas month, and they have little crafts, get-togethers, all kinds of things that they plan, and they really encourage just taking time to enjoy a treat and something like that. And I believe the United States is sort of catching on with this, with their obsession or with pumpkin spice coffee. But we could do better than a stimulant at a time of year when we should be resting. So as we become more in tune with nature and realize that this is the time of year to slow down, and people equate wanting to sleep and wanting to be restful with depression. And while I'm sure in some cases that's true, that's not always the case. Sometimes it's a really beautiful thing to just take it slow and enjoy yourself and just enjoy the peace and quiet. And we're just so used to overthinking everything. And if we have the belief that we don't like a certain time of year, and we're continually reinforcing that belief, and every time it snows, we're complaining about it, we can completely change our beliefs and see the beauty in things. That power lies within you. And we all know that there's, seasonal affective disorder is caused by the amount of light that we get. And if you can get outside every day, you will notice that there's more than just light. And having a light, what do they call them? I had one and it didn't help me very much, but I know they really help other people, and I'm jealous of you. But for me, the only thing that helps is getting outside no matter what the weather. And so I've reframed my mindset of hating the cold to just like kind of a bring it on mindset. And honestly, the person I have to thank for that is Wim Hof, because if he can do the stuff that he does, if you haven't heard of him, look him, and you complain about the cold, look him up. There's no reason we need to complain about the cold. And if you can really be present, one thing, this sounds crazy, but this is what happens when you reframe your beliefs about seasons. There's one winter we got this intense cold, and I just stand outside in it, and you couldn't stand outside. This was like -20, I'm not sure, but it's this immense energy, or like negative energy in the cold. I don't think there's really negative energy, but it didn't feel bad. But it was like, wow, like it just impressed upon me the power of nature. And the winter gives us opportunities for that. And there are plenty of things to appreciate in nature, like the forms of the trees that we don't see in the summer with the leaves on them. There's different birds. There's always birds around. I started noticing the crows instead of them just being a common sight, really watching them. And there's tons of wonderful things about this season, and our focus. Do not underestimate your power. Take your vitamin D, make sure you get the amount of light, get exercise, do all the things that doctors and common websites say to do to help your seasonal affective disorder, but also really, really pay attention to your thoughts and try to connect with nature. In a nutshell, that's all it is. And every year I get better and better at doing this, and every year I still sometimes have dark days, and that's okay. I have dark days in the summer too, but I don't have to believe that every year this time of year is gonna be tough. And if you're stressed by the holidays, there's a lot of positive changes you can do to make the holidays something you can look forward to. It doesn't have to be all expectations. Sometimes we get stuck in a rut with expectations. Talk to your family. You can change things. You can make them simpler. You can make gift exchanges not be as financially difficult, as sometimes they just run amok in that direction when you feel like you're expected to spend a lot of money. And so just like keep your mindset in how this year that you can look at things a little differently and try to plan good things to help you through it. I'd love to hear in the comments from you what things have helped you the most with seasonal affective disorder. And also, if you're interested in topics of spirituality, personal development, enlightenment, some of my videos get really deep in the subject of enlightenment, but I also have a lot of videos about just personal development and retraining your mind to be happy and to appreciate things. So thanks so much for watching. I hope to talk to you later. Bye.